Well, hello and welcome to a new video where we are going to take a look at the performance of the Dell Precision 5550 at 1080p in The Last of Us Part 1 with the Nvidia Quadro T2000 as well as the i9 CPU and 32GB of RAM. And we are playing at the medium settings preset, which obviously exceeds our VRAM capacity quite a bit. So we are probably going to see a lot of stuttering, and B, quite low FPS overall, because even without the VRAM capacity limitation, this card should not have the performance capabilities to run this game super smooth. But yeah, thanks to our 32GB of RAM, I guess we can mitigate the damage the 4GB VRAM capacity is doing right now. Because as you can see, we're still seeing 45, 48 FPS right now, which is very good for this title. And we do have 23GB of RAM usage, so I guess it definitely does its work right now. But yeah, it's pretty good. I actually did not expect it to perform this well, but we are in the city, and the city isn't the most demanding area in this game, so maybe once we leave the city, and especially leave this confined space here, the building, we probably are going to see quite a bit lower FPS than what we're seeing right now. But if we do see something around the 30 FPS mark still, then this would be absolutely fine and playable in this title. But since we're already dropping down to the 36 here, I am not super convinced that this is actually going to hold. And I just want to make sure really quick that we are at 1080p, yes, but we are using an upscaling technique. So we're using AMD FSR2 with the quality preset or the quality setting. So this is native resolution. But yeah, I think the implementation of FSR actually is pretty good in this title. So you're not going to lose out on a lot of quality once you turn that on. So yeah, I can definitely recommend doing so, because otherwise you probably would not see 34 or 35 FPS right now. All right. But yeah, I mean, you can see some artifacts around your character when you're moving very fast. So it's not a 100% perfect solution, but it's definitely better than having to drop down the quality or the resolution even further. So yeah, I would definitely stick to this one here. All right. Are we going? I mean, I would boost you up if you would want to come and get yourself boosted up this wall. Oh, never mind. I'm just stupid. All right, let's keep on going then. And I think this is pretty dark for you, so I'm gonna turn up the brightness a little bit so that you can actually see something which is happening on the screen. Where is the brightness? There it is. Let's go and set that up. Yeah, so now you should be able to see something actually. And I'm quite curious because I did play this on my XMG Fusion, which had the RTX 2070 Max Q as well as the i7 9750H, which is basically this CPU with a little less clock and cache, as well as 2 cores less, of course. And that one was definitely at 100% usage with, I think, 3 gigahertz clock speeds all the time. So it's pretty interesting that this one. I mean, obviously, we do not see the same FPS with the T2000 as we did with the RTX 2070 Max Q, but yeah, it's interesting that this one can actually deliver playable FPS with 1 gigahertz clock speeds, 1.3 gigahertz clock speeds, and not even being fully utilized. All right. I think another problem for us in this game potentially is probably, I mean, for this card, is the fact that the VRAM is actually quite a bit slower than on the Nvidia GTX 1650, so the consumer counterpart to this card. And since we're already lacking VRAM, it's obviously not good that we are not only lacking VRAM but also do have slow VRAM on this card. Oh, and we do have a dead one here. All right. But I mean, I think really rarely you can see that the textures haven't been loaded completely or haven't been loaded in completely. But apart from that, this is pretty nice. And I mean, we are still seeing 40 FPS right now, which is definitely not bad. And we do see some, oh, infected people here. Which I do believe we are able to kill. Man, I haven't played this game for some days now. Oh yeah, we should be able to avoid these guys and just go straight up, not go running so fast. But yeah, all right. But we do see some dips right now. I mean, 27 FPS, 20, and we see a dip because it's obviously loading in some new stuff in this area. But yeah, 28, 27 FPS, it still feels pretty smooth. I mean, I guess you're going for the cineastic, sort of cinematic look rather now. So yeah, 24 FPS, I would deem this barely playable outside here. Could definitely be worse, but yeah. If you really want to enjoy this game, I guess you should not be playing this on a Dell Precision 5550. But if I had to play this game on this machine, I guess I would still be able to enjoy it. Alright, I'm gonna go and get it, but actually I do think this is quite enough for this gameplay test, and yeah. As you can see, you can definitely do get some playable FPS out of this. I mean, we're playing at medium settings, and this is still looking pretty good. The game itself is looking pretty good, but yeah, I mean, you can see that right now we have 25 FPS, which isn't optimal for the gameplay experience. But since it is not dropping significantly at any point, but it's actually at a constant FPS rate, or I mean constant. Uh, if you would have a frame time graph, you wouldn't see huge dips. That's what I mean. Obviously, we're looking here, we're having 40 FPS. We're looking here, we're having 25 FPS. But this is constant at least, and this doesn't really feel like it's stuttering. So yeah, it won't be as responsive as you probably want it to be, especially if you're aiming down with your gun. But apart from that, you're definitely gonna enjoy this game.